What do you guys think about the DLC? And I'm looking for honest opinions about the roster, and you can chime into the comments about what you think about this roster and the DLC itself, which has already been revealed earlier, quite earlier than I thought it would probably come out. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video today. I wanted to change the DLC pass in my own way. And if you haven't already heard about the DLC characters or seen them, Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob is coming into the game. I don't know the exact order, of course. Mr. Krabs is joining in. We're gonna have Zuko, another Fire Nation rep. Not just him, not just another, just not one or two. We're gonna get 3 Fire Nation reps to get into the game. We got Zuko, and then we have the general from Fire Nation, Iroh, coming into the game. And then from TMNT to join the likes of Raphael, Donatello, and April O'Neil, we're going to have Rocksteady, which is so different. And I'll just say it seems so weird to have just Rocksteady come in solo. Now, I already got the season pass, and I'm going to be playing all the characters. I'm going to test them out and give them all the chance. And I'm cool with any character getting into the game. And with this roster myself, seeing the roster as it is before the game came out to the public, this roster is something that I did not expect. And I thought they were going to keep most of the characters. I didn't think they were going to cut so many. I personally wanted everybody in the roster to make the return and for the developers to build on what they have. Why cut the characters? And then they pulled what they did, the same thing from the first game. No Leonardo and Mikey. I'm really most shocked about all the 4 turtles not being able to get into the game to be playable. Michelangelo, Leo, and Mikey are not playable, but then instead, from the first, we had Leo and Mikey. Now the second game is out. Just for a little while now, we got Raphael and Donatello instead of Leonardo and Michelangelo. And that really is just different for me. And just from these other characters, I wanted everybody, Lincoln Loud, Hugh Neutron, and things like that. I can't imagine the strings that they had to pull to even try to get him into the game. For Hugh Neutron, which I'm even more shocked about as well. I'm just shocked that all those characters got changed. But the roster itself, I'm enjoying the characters for who they are. I like every single character in the game. I'm still learning some of them, even with their new changes and things like that. Getting used to the changes and how they play. I'm really enjoying the roster as it is, and it's so much fun to play. I'm really glad Plankton got in too, because most people kept saying, "Oh, he's too small. He's too small. He can't be playable." But when there's a will, there's a way. So I think they can definitely get more characters in the game. But let's start talking about the DLC. We got our characters decided, and for me, I feel like most people are not playing the game because of the character selection. I feel like the roster has something to do with the lack of players for this game. Even though we got LT Gray, Plankton, and so on and so forth, the character choices are probably slowing people down from playing the game because of the roster. And then it didn't stop there. It was because of the DLC decisions. So people probably don't want to even don't have any interest in playing most of the DLC characters. Maybe 1 or 2 characters they probably are going to favorite, like Mr. Krabs and Prince Zuko himself, or Zuko. I like all the characters in the DLC, and I'm gonna give Iroh a chance, of course. But with Rocksteady coming in solo, no Bebop. So Bebop will probably come down. Maybe the next pass will probably contain Bebop. But I just always thought of them as Bebop and Rocksteady as a duo. I think they could have did something like that. We don't need 3 Fire Nation reps. I thought Azula was perfectly fine to represent the Fire Nation. We didn't need any additional ones. Now, if they were going to get any other additional characters from Avatar Last Airbender, I wouldn't have minded to see, of course, Toph can come back, hopefully, at some point, and all the other missing characters that got moved and changed. But maybe like Katara, Sokka, things like that. I wouldn't have minded even just some other Avatar characters that don't really get much of a spot like that, or maybe just somebody from the Water Tribe, something, just anybody. But we didn't need another Fire Nation rep because Azula is a perfect fit for this roster. As powerful as she is, she was giving AIM problems in the show. and nearly sent Aang to the Shadow Realm. You know what I mean? So let's. I wanted to change the roster myself as far as the DLC, and you guys can pick the characters that you would have picked for this season pass if you want to, or maybe a particular character that you would want to see make it into the game as DLC. But I selected only 3 different new ones, as you guys can probably see from the thumbnail that I created. I wanted to select 3 new ones because I wanted to keep Mr. Krabs, because considering the fact that he's a background character in the Fry Cook games, the stage, basically the Bun Wrestling Ring from the show, you see him right there in the picture, just on the right side. He's a background character. Mr. Krabs is such a game changer. I personally wanted him into the game as DLC once they announced. And once I found out Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 was real, a real game, and just being able to play it and have early access to it was amazing. And seeing him in the background just had me all excited. But the fact that he's a DLC character, he opens the door for so many characters that's in the background, like Odie and maybe some of those other characters that got changed, who are NPCs or just play different roles in this game that have something to do with the campaign or the story mode, and what have you. Mr. Krabs is such a big deal to keep in this DLC, and I'm glad that they considered that, because now they open the doors for all the other characters to come back and potentially return in the future. So Mr. Krabs is the savior, I would say. And I'm glad that he's going to be in the game, and it looks like he's going to be the first one to play. Well, the first one we'll get to play as in the near future, probably sometime in January, if that particular launch date is really spot on. I'm looking forward to seeing what he says and how he plays in his laugh. I'm excited for him. So I decided to keep him in this DLC pass. But I played 3 different characters, and I'm going to just start explaining, why I chose them, and just some other 2 that I wanted to throw in here as some additional picks, just in case some of these characters don't get into the season pass or get into the game. I wanted to just make a little bit of adjustments, and just keeping Mr. Krabs in there is such a important character. And I see him as an important character, not because I like him as a character and he's funny and I can imagine his moveset potential and things like that I already created a year ago. But he is an important character because he's in the background and he's coming in as a playable. And I think he can really increase the likelihood of other characters being able to shine and have a chance to come back, and others that are unexpected to be a playable character to join the roster. Now, I went ahead and picked I wanted to start with an underrated show. I don't see many people talk about Mighty B and Bessie Hickenbottom. I seen her pop up in some of the fan votes and some of the characters that people wanted to see. But if they got LT Gray and then older shows like Angry Beavers from the classics, what's stopping them from getting Bessie or just including a show like Mighty B? I think they would definitely have a good chance to get in. And I also want to see more classic shows make a return alongside the Beavers. And I'm really happy that they decided to get them and found a way to make it possible to get the Angry Beavers in here. They're a great duo. Even with Cat Dog missing, Angry Beavers is still a good replacement for them. Daggett and Norbert, per se. So I picked Bessie for the second character to join the DLC pass, just to switch around. We need newer shows. I want to see new shows get in to this game, and not the same shows just keep on getting the slots and just stacking up. And then it leaves all the potential and the chances of other shows not being able to get into the game. Rocco's a solo rep by himself. Jimmy Neutron shouldn't be by himself. Hugh Neutron should have been in the game with him. But I could see the likes of Cindy Vortex and others joining in. But you see what I mean? And Zim being solo. You got a couple of solo reps in this game. And then Ren and Stippy. No Powder Toast Man this time. It's just crazy. So we need, my whole purpose of this and making this is including new shows, newer shows, and also new reps to be able to shine. And speaking of newer shows that's modern, And since Nickelodeon has a say in this, I wanted to pick a modern show that I really recently got into, Rock, Paper, Scissors. We have duos like the Angry Beavers and Ren and Stimpy. How about a first ever trio with Rock, Paper, Scissors, if you guys seen it? It's such a good show, and I think Nickelodeon will probably push for Rock, Paper, Scissors, considering the fact that they also went and pushed for Grandma Gertie. She's such a great character, and she's so much fun to play with. I also like using her in this game. Nickelodeon would definitely want to have a say in the DLC, and I wonder if they had something to do with the DLC choices with this. How did they even choose to Fire Nation reps and not even think about other shows in this day and age? So that's why I went with a modern show. I wanted to be a little bit different from my past. The season pass. Picking a newer rep or a modern character or a modern show that they would probably go for, like Rock, Paper, Scissors, potentially Monster High, Big Nate, aka Nate Wright. See what I mean? I think they would probably go for some of those characters. And then last but not least, I picked Timmy Turner because I wanted him in the game, the fans want him in the game, and everyone's been asking for this character for quite some time to get into another Nickelodeon crossover. This is Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. He's an all-star. Everybody likes watching the show. And even if it's some select few that might not be big fans of Fairly Odd Parents, which is completely fine, but there's no argument when it comes to the fact that most of the fans out there in the community want to see Timmy Turner outside of, unlike just other than me. Everybody's just been requesting him, and he's been in the #1 spot ever since then. Ever since this game came out and just came to fruition, maybe Timmy Turner might finally have a chance to get into the game. So I put him in the last spot for that 4th slot, just as a chance to possibly get in. So it gives the developers a little bit more time. Maybe he'll have a delay upon his release, but he'll be the final character that can wrap up the first pass, and it'll be perfect because it'll give them a little bit more time to try to get negotiations and discussions and any sort of things that they need to get handled and settled to come into an agreement to get this character in the game so people can be happy with these characters in the past itself. And I feel like the past that I came up with, I'm going to talk about a couple other additional characters I wanted to slide in for potential replacements, just in case things go wrong. This pass will probably get a good amount of sales to get people into the game, keep on playing the game consistently on a daily basis whenever they get time to from their schedules. It's going to sell well, and then it's going to benefit the developers as well because you have all these different characters. You're not taking from the same already represented shows. You got all the different characters, and including an underrated show that people don't talk about. But the whole fact of the matter is that you got shows that are all new reps, and it's just different. You get all different representation in the roster, so other shows can get in. You get more newer reps, so other shows can get represented and some representation, so they get a spotlight, not the same shows. This is Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. We got all these different, they all-stars too. Timmy Turner and all these other ones. Yeah, Rock, Paper, Scissors is still new. It's a modern show, but Nickelodeon is pushing that show, so I'm sure they will have some kind of influence or a say on wanting those kind of characters to get in to promote that show. So it's a winning situation for them and their new shows that they want to push out to the market, but also for the fans themselves to want to get the characters that they wanted and waited so long for. And just to wrap up, I wanted to add in 2 additional picks for a change, just in case. And I know, just going back to Gertie, I know they pushed for Gertie. I didn't have a problem with her getting into the game. Gerald got in. These are the 2 Hayano reps. Helga's gone, but I think she has a chance to come back because Mr. Krabs is coming in as a background character. And Helga is a background character from that aquarium stage, or Hillwood Aquarium. So I slid in Arnold as an additional potential DLC because I think he has the fighter potential. And he can join his best friend. It'll be awesome to see them. Gerald versus You know, Gerald versus Arnold in the Ultimate Showdown. Friend versus friend, best friend. The best of friends just duke it out on the battlefield. That'll be cool to see. I slid in Arnold, and then I wanted to add in another show like Tough Puppy. So I selected Kitty Catwell and Dudley Puppy, potentially. So one of those shows could probably get in another new additional show like that. And then just like I mentioned, Monster High or Big Nate, I think they'll probably get picked too, especially Big Nate. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll probably get another Loud House member. Because I don't know, I don't think they're going to have Lucy Loud just be the only Loud House member, Loud House rep. They could allow in that castle in the background, but he still has a chance to come back. But I feel like we'll probably get another Loud House rep. I wouldn't have a problem seeing another new Loud House sibling be DLC. And just even some of those returning vets could probably be free updates. But since they all play so differently and have different play styles from the first game, from returning characters, Danny Phantom and all them, they all play so different. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put them behind a paywall. But what do you guys think of this DLC? What would you change? What characters would you put in? I just wanted to talk about it and rebuild the past my way. This is just the first one. Maybe I'll create some other ones. Maybe like a season 2 if they do one. But I just feel like some of the choices that they have is going to hinder the results, and it's going to turn most players off. But they're only going to go for certain characters if they haven't already purchased the season pass. They're only going to be purchasing Mr. Krabs and Zuko for the most part. Iroh and Rocksteady are probably going to get skipped.